Hey guys, Darin, Garman here. How's it going? This is part 2 of our inspection series, on apartments or commercial investment property. Okay, just to kind of review, the last item that we covered was, should you have a property you're considering purchasing inspected? Okay, should you have an inspector come in and look at every square inch of the place and give you an idea what they think? Told you an idea what I thought and what I do, and hopefully that's given you some insight and really helped clear the way for you to really get going on some things. So I sincerely hope that's the case. Now, here's something I want to recommend to you that not a lot of people do, and I see it day in and day out with what I do. And I want to make sure that you do this because it's very, very important. You know, last video I told you I just got done doing an inspection, okay, and that was inspecting our own units. And you notice I mentioned inspecting our own units. Well, these are units that we obviously already own, right? Well, what I make sure I do is, from an apartment property owner or commercial property owner, at least once a month, I make sure that I'm on site and I take a look at the property on site. All right? So by on site, I mean I go to the property site, walk around, check things out, just make sure things look okay from, you know, what I call a drive-by or windshield perspective. Now, I'm not speeding by and, whoa, everything looks good. No, I mean, I pull in the parking lot, get out, I walk around, just get a kind of sense of things. It takes about, 5-7 minutes of property, get back in my car, and I'm out of there. Okay, I do that once a month. Okay, the other thing I do is twice a year, as you kind of notice, I go through every single unit we've got on an inspection, okay, twice a year. Now, some of you may think that's not enough. Some of you may think that's overkill. But let me give you an idea, like in the big picture, where I think this fits and why I think this is a real good formula. Okay, the majority of apartment property owners that I work with, and these are folks that own their own properties, and of course, own them for however long of a period of time that they do. And they sell, and of course they call me and want me to help them sell their property. The majority of these owners maybe get to the property once, I'd say every 2 years. Okay, themselves once every 2 years. Especially if you're dealing with out-of-state people that own their properties, many of them don't get to their properties maybe once every 5 years. Okay, now, in my opinion, that's a recipe for disaster. Because now you're allowing control of the environment to go to someone else's standards. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Okay. Now, hopefully, sorry, my nose itches, all that dust today. Ooh. Hopefully, you've got someone in place that's doing the management for you that has standards that you have, okay, or at least close to your standards. Okay. But if you don't, this could be a troubling thing. I've seen many, many cases where owners haven't been to their property in years. They turn over a property that's just in fantastic condition. 3 years later, they come back to a property that's in poor condition. And the only reason is the standards of the people they had operating the property were different from their standards. Okay, and so what you want to make sure you do after you own your properties, guys, you want to make sure you at least get to that property twice a year if you can. All right, at least twice a year, and go through every single apartment. If you can't get to your property site at least once a month, find someone that you can relate to that has the same kind of standards that you have to at least walk around and take a look and give you a report of what's going on. You need to do this. Why? Because you've got to stay on top of those folks that are making those all-important decisions on the condition, the environment, and the kinds of tenant your property is going to have and going to attract. Okay, it's very, very important. Those people that don't do that lose control. And then when do they want to gain control? When it's time to sell. Well, too late now. What are you going to do? Not sell it for 3 years while you fix everything that the last 10 years have kind of produced in terms of environment and type of tenant, kind of condition of the property? You don't want to be in that boat. Okay? So, make sure that at least twice a year you get to your properties, you get in there and you inspect and you walk around. Okay. Now, I'm not saying take a magnifying glass and bring 8 inspectors with you, and get an idea of what's going on, because you'll have a note. I go through twice a year. Every dang time I got a notebook full of stuff, and my folks, my management folks, even know I'm going through twice. They even know what I do, and they know what I expect. But you know what? I still find things, and I'm not a real picky person either. If I come into an apartment and there's bad color carpeting in there, or the appliances are a little bit old, or harvest green color or whatever, I'm not making notes and replace that. It takes a lot more than that to really shake me up. Okay, but point being, do it, because you'll have so much more control. Because ultimately, when it comes time to sell, you'll know what you've got. You won't have any surprises, and you'll get a heck of a lot more money for your property when it comes time to sell.